I have some reflections on my changed perception of Fordham. I kind of took it in a different way, though, when I asked myself this question mere hours ago.
Let's hear it.
And it has to do with one of the books that I recently read from my library. So we're really just getting full circle left and right here. So I just finished a book literally last night called Friends and Strangers. It's a novel by J. Courtney Sullivan. I wouldn't say I loved the book. It troubled me in some ways. It was interesting. It made me think. So like thought provoking, check. I can call that a good read. Like I'm glad that I read the book. But one of the protagonists is a college senior who just loves her campus, loves her university, specifically loves her president. The president of her university is someone she absolutely idolizes. Like, this woman can do no wrong. She built the place from the ground up. And like, there's this one speech that this president made that she just watched on a loop since high school. And she always knew she wanted to go to this college because it was, led by such a strong woman, and da da da. Which is like cool. And I think we've all had that moment where of someone within an institution that you belong to, where you're like, oh my God, like that person's so great. They're doing such wonderful things. I'm so happy that I get to be a part of that. And then by the end of the book, spoiler alert, sort of, she becomes very disillusioned by the woman that this college president actually is, and the steps she's not taking to like build this community of female empowerment. And there's this whole subplot with the hospitality workers at the campus and the president not really caring because whatever. And it made me reflect, because I think I can see myself, and I have like fallen into the trap of being like, I love Fordham, and Fordham can do no wrong, and like they would never do anything to hurt anybody, and I'm so proud to be part of this community. But like I think that's ultimately very limiting. You know what I mean? I think the proudest ram I could, it's so cheesy, but like the best ram I can be is one that like challenges things. And I think especially in 2020, the summer of 2020, when there was a lot of unrest in general, I think a lot of things came to light with Fordham. And I don't know, I think I'm impressed by my peers that we call it out. And I don't even want to include myself in that, because it's definitely been my peers that I've watched call out some things that Fordham maybe could be doing better. And I'm proud to be a part of that community. You know what I mean? So I'm not like blindly loyal to the higher ups, I suppose, but I'm like fiercely loyal to my peers who are calling out these things. And it feels really, really rewarding to kind of be a part of that.
Absolutely. I really like all those points that you made. I think that's a very important measure of growth, to think critically about a place that has shaped the way you think, and to be able to be a free thinker and look back at this place that shaped your mindset and think like, hey, you're not so perfect after all.
Yeah.
I think that's great. And I really like how you phrased that the administration, or just the maroon F logo, is not this venerable thing anymore, but instead your peers, the populace. I think that's also something that I can relate to a lot, and I respect that. Hell yeah. Another like sidebar to that, I remember when I first got to Fordham, I was an urban plunger. Did you do urban plunge? You were a plunger.
I was a plunger.
I did not do urban plunge, but I was always a little bit jealous of them.
Thank you. I was a plunger, and the first, like one of our first round robin questions, we like all went around and introduced ourselves, and my group leader asked us our pronouns. I had genuinely never been asked my pronouns before. I was like, this is so like, what kind of liberal institution am I at? Like, I literally asked myself, I was like, what? I think that being one of my first, I guess, realizations about Fordham was like, oh my God, we're like more aware and considerate and inclusive. I was like, that's a really cool thing that I get to be a part of now. Like, that is built into the institution that's going to shape me these next couple years. So I almost want to say that maybe rest on my laurels. Like, I didn't ask myself maybe any tough questions, because I was like, see, I'm here. Like, I didn't stay in Pennsylvania. I didn't stay at a small-minded school. Like, we're doing the things, I'm meeting the people, I'm doing enough. So I think looking back now, I'm like, I could have done a lot more. I could have gotten a lot more involved. I could have understood the problems, and I could have understood the questions I should have been asking a little bit better.
Yeah, it sounds like you were learning all you can while you were a student, and the lesson that you learned when you were an alumni came when you were an alumni, and you may have not been ready for it had it come earlier. And that's just life, you know?
Yeah.
Like we all kind of think of it and cringe back, whether it's something socially conscious or just anything. We look back when we're younger and we cringe, and that just shows a side of a sign of growth. And I think it comes from a sign of love. Like if you didn't care about your school,
Yeah.
or you didn't care about something, you would just be like, whatever, it's flawed, but I got through it, so it doesn't matter. They
Mhm.
gave me a degree. But because we feel like we belonged, we had a sense of belonging and we had this sense of home,
Mhm.
we looked around and was like, well, this home can be a lot better. This home is making other people feel ousted and uncomfortable. And I realized how warm and lovely it is to feel belonging here. So it needs to change to make sure everyone feels like a sense of home so that when everyone graduates, they're going to want to come back again. So, yeah.